Welcome to Where Her Heart Speaks, a show designed to challenge and disrupt ineffective thoughts and behaviors to help you not only embody peace, joy, calm, and certainty, but also to help you live the life you've always dreamed of living. Where Her Heart Speaks with Coach Catherine begins now.
Hi there, it's Coach Catherine. Have you reached that point where you are just sick and tired of being sick and tired? Are those feelings of stress and overwhelm taking a toll on you? Listen, you are not alone. The American Psychological Association reports that 7 in 10 adults have experienced physical and mental health problems due to stress. And while there are many ways to reduce stress, I believe one of the best ways is to regulate your nervous system. And this is why I've created a powerful infographic to help you do just that. Listen, in 3 minutes or less, you can reduce, release all of your stress by using the 5 strategies I've listed in my free infographic. You can obtain a copy of this infographic at bit.ly/5, the number 5 ways to the number 2, de-stress. bit.ly/5 ways to de-stress and start releasing your stress today. And I want to say welcome and welcome back. I am Catherine James, international speaker, best-selling author, trauma-informed coach, and your host for this show, Where Her Heart Speaks. And this week, I'm going to just open up with some questions and just kind of get your mind going a little bit. Have you ever wondered what it would be like to be a world-class record holder? Have you ever wondered what it maybe even takes to be a world-class record holder? And then here's the last question. Have you ever wished you could just sit and talk with a world-class record holder? I mean, to just like peer into their minds and gain an understanding of how they think, how they move. Well, let me tell you, you are in for a treat because today you no longer have to neither wonder nor wish anymore because I am honored to sit with and introduce or reintroduce you to the world-class record holder, Jen Franks Ahaghotu. Jen, welcome.
Oh, thank you, Catherine. I love that intro. So good.
I am so excited to be in your presence. I'm so excited to have connected with you in the manner in which we connected, which we'll get into in a moment. I was sitting and I was thinking about you. And before I ask you to share a little bit more, I want to say I know that you call yourself a disruptive truth teller. And so I was sitting and I was thinking, there's so much more to that. There's so much more. And I thought and wrote down these words for those that are listening and maybe want to gain an understanding. Jen is an innovator. She is a visionary. She is an implementer and a finisher because I'm like, so many people start things, so many people have ideas and they just stay right there. But an implementer and a finisher and a world changer. I felt the need to preface your moment of sharing about you with all of that so that people could really understand your greatness.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. I'm gonna have to watch this recording for real. Remember, because so often we sort of move forward, right? We have a plan. Sometimes we finish it, sometimes we don't, and then we
Mhm.
kind of move on. And the Black women world record, I know we're going to talk more about it, really is about celebrating what you've already achieved, and then you know having that be something that you are celebrating with the world. And yeah, when you do a world record, like you gotta get all the way to the finish line with that. So it's very true.
Yeah. So before we get into that, just tell us about Jen. Who is Jen? How did she get here?
Sure, sure. Let's see. So I am Jen Franks Ahaghotu, and I think at my core, I'm my mother's daughter, and I am an educator. I was a teacher and an administrator for 15 years. I, used to play school with my younger sister, and I was Ms. Walnut, and I was very strict. So I've been in the education space for a really, really long time. My mother was in education, my father was in education. And so that's a huge part of my story. And, right now I have my own business. It's called Disruptive Truth. It's in service to Black women, and having us speak our truth in order to change the world. And I know the project that we are here to talk about, Black Women World Record, is the first project under that. So, I'm an educator, and then I'm also a dream chaser and somebody who just wants to do big things in the world and won't stop until that happens.
Somebody who has already done big things in the world.
Yeah.
So I was doing a little research, some homework, and I discovered that you created and launched again, initiator, finisher, this huge program for the schools in New York. And I don't remember the numbers, but I do want you to share the numbers because it's just massive. So tell us a little bit about that.
Yes, yes. So I'm a proud New Yorker. I live in Pennsylvania now, but I'm a New Yorker at my core. And I was working in New York City in public schools. I was, an educator there. And I worked for this program called Learning Partners Program. And it was all about helping schools to collaborate with one another. Because usually with schools, they're in their own little world, they do their own thing. And they just, it's really hard to find time to get to know other teachers and educator principals and learn from each other. So we had a massive program. Okay, let me see if I can remember the numbers. But gosh, we had 250 different schools coming through the program every year. So that's already huge. Schools
Yes.
all across New York City. And yeah, we had a multi-million-dollar budget, and we had, gosh, I think over 100,000 students who were
That's the
affected
number.
by
That's
the.
the number.
Yeah, and so literally every time I think about it, I'm like, wow, I can't even believe they let us do that. So, but I was on the team that helped to design that program from the ground up. And yeah, that was one of I just was in love with that project and helping, Black and Brown students in particular. We had a whole piece of it that was around racial equity work back, and this was before, 2020 and George Floyd and kind of the resurgence of Black Lives Matter. And we were doing that work when, nobody else was doing that work at that scale in the US. So
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, I like to do big things.
Yeah. Let me repeat that word, innovator.
Yeah, no, I have to do things that are new and different. Like I cannot actually just sort of put one foot in front of the other and have that predictability. Like I like to create things.
Mm.
Um, it's important for me to be able to create things. Yeah.
Yeah. Um, I think there's something in you where it's very apparent to me that that is a part of your purpose and a part of what drives you. Um, so we'll jump into what we're not just here to talk about this. I want to say we're here to talk about Jen, but this monumento movement that you have created and started, um, how we connected, and just to give people a feel for what's going on and the shift that you're creating in society. there's so much negativity out here. There's so much attention brought to what's not happening. And I love that you're able to take your experience as an educator, your love for that, and bring it forward and show something very positive. And so this movement that we're talking about is your this record that you broke, created,
Yeah,
turned upside
glad.
down. um, and so I'm gonna have you just tell us about it, and then I'll talk about how I came to know you.
Yes, yes. I love how you describe that. So my latest project through Disruptive Truth is Black Women World Record. And just as you said, it's a world record that celebrates Black female academic achievement. And honestly, the two things that were really important about this world record were joy and celebration. That at the very heart, at the very core of it, was an opportunity for us as Black women to joyfully celebrate our education.
Mhm.
And so the way that it worked is that on September 8th, which is Ruby Bridges' birthday, so on September 8th, we posted pictures of ourselves with our graduation certificates. And this was anything from a GED, your high school diploma, your associate's degree, your undergraduate, your BA, your graduate degrees, professional certificates, just any sort of educational certificate that you have gotten since high school. We posted pictures of ourselves to social media in celebration of that.
Yeah.
And it was a world first because it had never been done before. We had, 1,894 posts that were posted on that day in that 24-hour period. We have impacted 1.5 million people and growing. So 1.5 million different people saw, it's tracked through our hashtag Black Women World Record. And the numbers are just so exciting. But I think that the thing that for me was the most, that just really spoke to my heart was how all of these Black women felt about participating in this. And it really went deep, and it was really a beautiful experience for everybody who was a part of it.
Yeah. Yeah. It is still a beautiful experience, and it is mind-boggling. Um, yeah, 1.5 million and growing. And the hashtag Black Women World Record, for those of you who did not catch it. So go look that up. But I get people to come into my DM pretty frequently, and oftentimes I don't respond. And there was something about the message that I saw from you. And I think I will say energetically, I was pulled to get involved. I am a person that does not share a lot. And as I was pulling my degrees, I thought, I don't know if I've ever posted these. I know one that I may have, but it felt like it was a moment to just pause and appreciate the work that I had done. Now, me, I did not get my degrees until later in life. I climbed the ladder, working hard, learning everything I could in my industry, and had amassed, a good living. So to go back and get my degree later in life was just kind of this personal desire. And I felt like it's not really necessary to broadcast. Like I remember my physician asking after I got my master's, like, what are you going to do with it? And I said, nothing, um, and I went back specifically because of, the work that I do as a coach, I am very much interested in the nervous system and the impact that trauma has on life altogether, as a whole. And I just felt like people would believe that there was more value if there was a degree, right? So that was the purpose of that. But there was this calling when I saw your message and immediately went into the group and felt all of the women who were there so prideful, so happy about their accomplishments. And I remember one lady in particular who had gone on to get her higher level degrees, and she posted instead her high school diploma, saying that it was so hard for her to get that one. And to
Mhm.
go back and really just watch all of the stories and what was really resonating with people, I'm going to say that you nailed it. You nailed that experience of joy. You nailed the experience of celebration. And what I love that you did and continue to do is bring the women together. Bring them together every week. Like, so it's not just a, we did it and I'm done, right? Bringing them together every week and to watch these women. I sit over there with you like, wow, this is awesome. And it feels good. Like, I feel like, yeah, I've done some things. But I also want to look at or bring awareness to the fact of you saying any type of certification, education as an adult, because there are so many people who are not celebrated and they go out and they do all of this work and they get all of these certifications. And it's just like, well, you didn't do this, you don't
Mhm.
have that. So to be able to allow them to be celebrated, I am just wanting to know what made you start there instead of like so many others looking at higher education or
Yes, yes. I love that question. I thought a lot about that. I thought a lot about that. So once the world record was launched, we launched it on Juneteenth this past year. Um, there was so much that went into the details and the design of it and, the experience that I wanted women to have. And that was a big question. Where do we, you know, we're here to celebrate ourselves, but there also need to be some parameters around it so that it has meaning, right? It can't be just celebrating everyone everywhere with anything. So, so I thought a lot about that. And I really feel that, why wouldn't we celebrate a high school degree? Like why we should. And if that is the degree that you have, you should celebrate it, period. They're just, to me, it's like, I just don't even know why you wouldn't. And, I know women who have doctoral degrees, and then I know women who have a high school diploma. And, we have so many, not everybody has the opportunity to go to college. It's just not an opportunity for everyone. So to me, it was more like, I almost felt like I wish I could celebrate. Yeah, I don't know how to even describe it, but I felt like let's at least start with the high school diploma for this particular project. But I'm hoping that in the future, we're going to be celebrating all kinds of different things that Black women have done.
yeah, yeah. I think what resonates with me there, or what's coming up when you say not everybody had an opportunity. And I think that it is important to bring awareness to that because those who did not have opportunities are not necessarily less than, like they're not necessarily incapable of or less intelligent. Like they are still brilliant people who are doing big things but did not have that opportunity, right? So to be able to allow them to sit in a space with women from all walks in terms of education and say, you belong here.
Yeah.
You belong here. I absolutely love it. I love it.
That's one of the things I love about the community too, is that people are celebrating, they're celebrating it all. I'm celebrating my GED. I'm celebrating, my master's degree. I'm hearing the stories of the other women in this group, and I'm now going to go get my doctorate. Like, we have
Yes.
people being inspired, right?
Yes.
To now take the next step in that education. And, we had somebody who got a degree, I think the day of September
Yes.
8th, and she was like, I'm putting it out there, so it's a continuum as well, right? And it can, when we share our stories at all of these different educational experiences that we've had, it inspires something in people to do. And it may be going back to school. It may be, taking on a project. I know somebody was speaking at one of the meetings about starting a business, right? Like, she's always wanted to start her own business. And so that's what she's now inspired to do. So I think that there's so many ways that we can inspire each other when, when our cups feel full. I think that's really what it is. When you feel like your cup is full, then pour into other people, and that just starts this chain reaction um, of amazing things that can happen from there.
Yeah, yeah. I have a group that I'll talk with you about a little later, but it's Black women. And what I shared in that group, I don't know if you're familiar with the elephant circle, but the elephant circle, the baby, or not the baby elephant, the injured elephant, and oftentimes they talk about the elephant who's given birth. She goes in the middle of the circle, and all of the other elephants surrounds her with their backs facing her and their heads tusked looking out, and they start kicking dirt up and making noise. And what the purpose of that is to keep predators away. So she's in this circle and she's protected. And I feel like when we look at the community of the Black women that are in the Black women world record holder community, that's what you've created. Like, there are women in there, some of them are very strong and their cups are pouring over, and they can give and protect those who are there feeling a little apprehensive. Maybe they don't belong, but they're in there, right? And then they get to come out stronger. They get to come out. And I'm speaking, this is something we're going to see in the future. All of these women will be powerful and dynamic because they sat in that community. Right?
Yeah.
Totally what I'm seeing. And I go in and I'm reading the notes and seeing so many people, like you said, I'm going back to school. I'm going to start this. I was inspired. I'm going to do that. And it's just absolutely amazing. In addition to the movement, or a part of the movement, I know that there is so much more going on, and I don't know how much you want to share. So I won't blurt it out. I will let you tell how much you want to share.
Sure, sure. So, this was a big experiment, really, this world record. And part of what I love about it is, as I'm leading it, but I'm also experiencing it and also taking cues from it about where we should go next and what that's going to look like. Because I think that the community is so important, and it's important to listen to that community. And that's one of the reasons why we're continuing, right? So anybody who's interested in being a part of our community, we do meet weekly. That was not something I had really necessarily planned, but it was just clear that it needed to continue, and that was an important part um, of what this group is to each other. And one thing that we do have planned in the future is a documentary. So I'm very excited about that because September 8th has come and gone, and it was an amazing day, but, a film is forever. And also one of the things I love about it is that it's going to give us the opportunity to see that story, to watch it, how it came to be, right? And I'm going to be sharing my own family's educational journey. We're going to be featuring different Black women and sharing their stories because I feel like a big part of this um, was bringing women together, and so it's important for women to be represented. So we've got a documentary coming. We're going to be pitching it to different awards, for different awards, Black film festivals, and major streaming services. So that is happening in 2024. So, there are other things in the works. I'll leave you with that for now. The documentary is big enough. But to me, like, I feel like something important has been uncovered, and now it must continue. And we're just finding different ways for that to happen.
Yeah. Yeah, I absolutely love that. And those who are listening, keep watch for the documentary. Keep watch, continue to support. Um, when I when we finished, I think it was after, it may have been before, but when I reached out and said, I'd love to have you on the show, for me, there's like I said, so much negative information put out there. And unless you are in this community, you do not, and so many who are in the community don't understand the vast amount of wealth in terms of knowledge, in terms of, I'm going to say positive resiliency, because we hear resilient all the time, but positive resiliency where individuals are out just truly wanting to make a difference in the world. And I believe that this brings so much awareness. It shines such a huge light and prayerfully will begin to overcast all of the negative information. We hear about the strong Black woman, the woman with the attitude, the nasty behavior like that. It will begin to just wash that all away and truly say, no, this is a group, a class of people that are just absolutely amazing.
Yes, yes, we get to tell that story about ourselves.
Mhm.
We get to be that if that's what we want to be. And, I've done some DEI work, racial equity work, and I really love that work. And I think, there's a place for it. There are systems that are broken and they need to be fixed. And then there are also spaces where we just get to be purely who we are, and we get to build the table. We get to put ourselves, put all the chairs around it. There's so much freedom, I think, in having certain spaces where it's just about us and it has nothing to do with anybody else. And we're not like, there's no white gaze, there's no male gaze, there's no it's just us. It's literally just us talking about, what we've done, what we're doing, how we feel about ourselves. Um, and I think spaces like that are really rare and really important.
Yeah. I was reading, I think on your LinkedIn, and it said something that spoke to that a bit, where we don't have to buy into the racial system. We don't have to buy into the patriarchal system. And as I was reading it, I was like, yes, that's my sister. That's my sister. Because I've not seen it voiced in that manner. And it's so funny because I tell people all the time, I sit here and I have all of these thoughts that are so against the grain. And so as I'm reading that, I'm like, yes, we get to just be who we are outside of these labels, outside of these boxes that they want to put you in. And again, hopeful that as we sit in this space together and really build up each other, that we are able to even come out of that space and just be who we are without need or desire for validation from anyone else. Just knowing that this being, because the being that God created was perfect and good enough, is
Yeah.
all that mattered.
That's right. That's right.
So I thank you for that. I had to share that because and went off. I always go off on a tangent, but
Love it. It's so beautiful.
as I was reading, I was just like, oh my gosh, this is it. This is it. Ladies, those that are listening, I want to invite you to join the group. Join the group. This is for African American women. And I know that over the past couple of months, I've been saying some things where it feels like other people are excluded. It's just pockets. So it's not that you're excluded, it's just, pockets where they're designed for certain people. If I say that clearly enough, because it's
Yeah.
not about exclusion.
And that's okay. That's okay for those to exist. And it's important. And there are lots of different kinds of groups like that that really help people in special ways.
Yeah, yeah, that there is something truly when we are able to come together and celebrate, as you said, have joy, as you said, but I believe from a place of a deeper knowing of where we come from. Um, there's an energy in the space where our ancestors fill the room, and you can feel that. You can feel that. So I don't know. I don't know what you've created. Where it's going. I know what you created. I don't think the magnitude of what you've created is felt yet. And I am so excited to see what is to come. So
Mm.
excited. Um, as we are beginning to wrap up, is there anything that you want to say that maybe we've not talked about?
Mm. You know, I think it's just so beautiful for me to hear from you about what this means to you and what you experience in the group and how, it felt to be a part of this. And so I'm just so grateful to you for sharing that because um, to me, it makes it so clear that this was needed on a very deep level. Just like I said, this is really the beginning, right? September 8th was like our kickoff. And the space that we've created is such a beautiful space. And so I just want to invite all Black women, with that high school certificate and beyond, join us and experience this for yourself. Like you will be forever changed, truly, by being a part of this group. And so, I invite you to come in and be changed. I invite you to come in and change the lives of other women by being a part of the community. And so I'm so grateful because Black Women World Record brought us here to this point where we're having this conversation, and it's so deeply meaningful to me. And I want as many Black women to experience that as possible.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm just thinking when we talk about this and just to kind of put a frame around it and help people understand the age group, like it spans from, I don't know, I've seen 20s and I've seen 80s. Like, so the expansive range in terms of age, but I bring that up because, and this keeps coming up, so I'm gonna have to say it, but I bring that up because as you talk about this community and getting something out of the community, I feel like there are not where it's literal mothering taking place, but there's mothering taking place.
Yes.
Just again, the energy that's showing up in the room. Um, I was able to catch maybe a replay, I think it was a replay, but your mom
Mm,
is present and very active, and to watch her speak to you, to watch her talk about how much she appreciate and love and admire. I thought how many women have not experienced that,
mm,
but was able to witness it. And because
mm,
they're able to witness it, they can choose to be that for their daughter.
mm.
Right? There's so much that's happening.
Oh my goodness. I'm so emotional. Wow. There's so much. I know it's like you just gotta come and experience it.
Yes.
Yes, yes, that's so true. That's so true. And um I've had I have women reaching out to me all the time, and many of them have mentioned that, have talked about um well, they say, can your mom be my mom or something like that, right? Or like, oh, I want to borrow your mom for a little bit. But there are also other women in the group who sort of play a very similar role. Some of the older women, and who've had these, yeah, just it's very inspiring, really, to hear, especially women who experience so much
Mm,
and are so positive and mothering, and just like you talked about. And it's like, even it's almost like we are just part of each other's world. We're just part of each other's worlds by being there and witnessing it. um and yeah, it pours into all of us
yeah.
when they share in that way.
That is very true. I'm in California, right? So we're touching like all four corners of the globe. Um, I remember there was a woman said, I want to say it was Arkansas, where it's still or not allowed. No, let me get it right. Black history cannot be taught in school. It's against
Right.
the law. Like in California, that is foreign to me. I have absolutely no knowledge. That floored me. So it
Mm,
allows us also to come into each other's world and find ways to support whatever we're dealing with based on the system that we live in, right?
mm,
Um, yeah, I don't know. I guess we could talk about all of I know that I can continue to share what I'm seeing and experiencing. And I kind of sit on the back in the background just watching and taking things in. But again, sharing to encourage. If there's, I will say, if there's anything that you desire as a Black woman, give yourself an opportunity to experience this space.
mm.
Step in and decide that it's not for you, okay, but give yourself an opportunity, because there's so many broken chains in our history. And I just feel like this is a way that we can begin to mend some of those chains.
Yes, yes, that's right. That's right. And that's what we're here for. We're young, right? But we have just started, and we are, yeah, we it's the movement is on the move, truly, truly. And I can't wait to take it to places that I can't and we can't even imagine at this point. And that's what's really exciting to me,
Yeah,
is the promise of creating something in the image that we want and that we need.
yeah,
And that's what we're here to do.
yeah. So get on board. Don't let the newness deter you. Listen, how many of us would raise our hands now if we were called to go and partake with something, anything Apple was doing today? Right? So, this is where this movement is going. So get on board, and more so than just focus on the movement, focus on yourself and what you can bring, what you can take away, and how you can help change the world, how you can help shape the world. I love that Jen said we get to paint the picture that we want seen. Okay. So Jen, just tell us, how do people connect one more time?
Yes, yes. So it's very simple. You go to blackwomenworldrecord.com. You share with us your name and email, and then you get all of the updates and all of the news. We've got a Facebook group. We have these weekly meetings, as we mentioned, over Zoom. And yeah, that's all you need to do. It's free to join, and we would love to see you there.
blackwomenworldrecord.com.
Mhm.
This has been an honor for me. I thank you. I know one day I'm going to be somewhere saying, I know her. And when it's all said and done, we'll all have Black Woman World Record holder as titles because of you. Thank you. Thank you. Each week I close out with a small prayer for those that are listening. And I simply want to say, my prayer for you is that you will know your worth simply because you were created, you are worthy. I pray that you will go after all of your desires, all of your dreams, that you will be inspired by those who look like you, that you will grab hold of their wings and soar until you can build your own. And as I close, I want to remind you that in this life, we get to choose to listen from the place of where your heart speaks, and choose to live a sensational life. Peace and blessings.
Thank you for listening to Where Her Heart Speaks with Coach Catherine, where Catherine aims to challenge and disrupt ineffective thoughts and behaviors to help you not only embody peace, joy, calm, and certainty, but also help you live the life you've always dreamed of living. Follow Catherine on Facebook and Instagram at I Am Catherine James, and visit www.catherinejames.com. Remember, to live the life of your dreams, you must go within and return to the place where your heart speaks.